Tonkin. I'm the consultant's consultant. This is a short presentation of things I've observed work and don't work with online workshops in MS Teams or Zoom. It's called Engaging People, but it's all about learning more and connecting more with our users. And basically the message is it's not TV. There are 3 things you can do to set yourself up to succeed, model the behavior you want, and set your learners or your participants up to succeed. Let's start with the first one. So, most important, the background. A real background is way better than a virtual one. With virtual ones, you can disappear. If you hold up a piece of paper with a virtual background, the paper will probably not be seen unless you smother the camera with it. Why bother? Just work around it. Work around it in your house. But just remember this, don't have disorganization in the background. If you have to put your desk 2 feet away from a wall, do that, but don't have crap. Do what you can to not have your bed in the background. If you move closer to the wall, nobody knows you're sitting on the bed. You don't have to have your bed in the background. Put a blank wall in the background. But if that blank wall is a window, please do not do the backlit thing. We can't see you. I feel like I'm in some kind of film noir. Don't do it. If your camera is on, then please stay present. That means actually paying attention to what's going on. If your camera is on and you are presenting, you are just telling everybody else that it's no point in paying attention. If you are co-presenting, pay attention to your co-presenter. You are going to find that if you personally wear colors and patterns and stripes and plaids, you're not going to look as good on camera as you do with just the single block colors. So pay attention to block colors. If you can, 2 monitors works better than 1 because you can have your presentation on one and your camera with people on it on the other. I have 3. So here's what the kind of setup I have been using. And this is what you can see on there. So you can see on the left-hand one, I have my Teams chat and my Scrumbler being an online whiteboard solution. In the right-hand one at the back, I have my PowerPoint so I can see exactly what's going on. And in the front one, I have the Teams with the cameras. And do note that there is also paper involved. I've got a participant list and I'm taking notes, and I've got information on the left-hand side as well. Be aware that everything you do can be heard as much as seen. And if you have you're reading from a piece of paper and you have you're turning your papers over on your desk, we can hear that. So if you're co-presenting, for whatever you do, mute your mic or don't shuffle papers. If it's really important that they get something, please don't read it to them out loud. If they really need to know it, make it into a slide. So here's an example of a slide I made, for example, to just get people familiar with Teams who'd not used Teams before. It doesn't have to be complex, but make sure that if it's important, you've got a slide for it. Then secondly, we've kind of already covered this, model the behavior you want. So look at them, look directly at the camera, look at least at just below the camera at their images. Don't have your camera on one side of you so we get a profile shot of you. It's just not professional, and it makes us feel like you don't care, and that's not what you want them to think. Every 3 to 5 minutes, you need to have some kind of interaction with them, with the learners. Ask them something like, here's a list of 5 things. Which one's most important to you? Or how do you define the thing I'm about to talk about? What's the best idea you've had so far? It doesn't have to be a rocket science thing. Variety is good, but it's more important to interrupt your flow than anything else. Scrumbler.ca is a fabulous online whiteboard. Quizzes, whiteboards, chats, breakouts, these are all available in MS Teams now and in Zoom, so use them. Have some prepared quiz questions if you like. They do not have to be serious. They just have to be. Make sure you keep your cam on. If you're wanting them to keep their cam on and them to be visible, you need to be visible. Finally, set them up to succeed. So, for example, put them in charge of what's going on. Don't say, I'll send you the slides later. Tell them if they like a slide, take a picture with their phone. Put them in charge. Help them feel comfy. So if they make sure that everybody knows each other, or at least there's some kind of who we are in this room so we understand our purpose and what unites us. Let them be human. Make sure that you take regular breaks. That's at least once every 45 minutes, half an hour to 45 minutes. Even if you have to come back, be aware that at breaks, people actually often come back late. That's fine. If you've got a puzzle or something like this one, which I've used for coming back from breaks, make sure you explain the link between the puzzle and the rest of the day. There will be one, make one up. It just has to be clear to them that you're not just throwing a puzzle at them so that if other people are back late, they don't lose it, because then what happens is they just come back late. Be aware that you are not the only source of knowledge in the room, that usually the participants have some information already, some familiarity with what's going on. So ask them. If someone asks a question, ask, oh, so Amanda, what do you know about this? Brendan, you've got some expertise in this area, etc. You don't have to be the one with the answer. You can always add your answer at the end, but often for a lot of things, there's many, many answers. Give them the chance to at least give you some of them. Set a benchmark early for interaction. That means from the moment they log in, from the moment you let them out of the waiting room or they join, have interaction. Say good morning. It doesn't take much, just a little bit of a good morning. How are you? Where are you from? Etc. Hi, we've not met, or hi, good to see you again. Silence at the beginning of a workshop sets you up for silence throughout the workshop. Give them questions with the notice. So, for example, you might show them a chart or a video and say, after we've had a look at this video or after I've shown you this chart, I'm going to ask you this question. And people will usually write that question down and often will take notes themselves. So when you get to the so, what do you think about? Here's the question I was going to ask you. You've got a much fuller room ready to answer. And if you call on them, they know that you were going to call on them and they know what the question is. You'll get much better quality answers that way. Call them by name, and do it from the very beginning, early in the piece. Make it really, really clear to them that you'll be interacting, and use their name so they know they can't hide. If their camera is not on, please request them to turn. Virginia, can you turn on your camera? If they say, oh, look, there's a problem with my internet, well, that happens to everybody. Great, but don't assume there's a problem with their internet. Ask them for the cam. Finally, this is one of my bugbears. Does someone want to tell me the answer to this question? Nobody does want to. If you ask an entire room, social proof's they're going to look around and go, someone else will answer that question. No. Do what you can to pin people down, but kindly give them some choice. So one of the ways to do that is, for example, to say, Wanda, your choice. You can either answer this question, which is blah, 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 or you can tell me who else should answer this question. And Wanda can then either answer it if she knows the answer, or go, I think Chrissy should answer this question. Suddenly you've got interaction and you're not being the meanie who's pinning them. Use the force being reinforcement. Reinforce any behaviours they do that you really want them to do. So if they ask questions, give them kudos for asking questions. Use their name. People love their name more than anything else in the whole world. They love to hear their own name. So use the force and reinforce what information you want from them. So that's the kind of nutshell of this. Essentially, this is not TV. Set yourself up to succeed by getting your background right, making sure you're lit correctly, that your camera is on, that you're dressed for the camera, that you've got the right number of slides and all of those things set up. Model the behavior that you want. Look at them. Explain if you're not, if for whatever reason. Interact frequently. Use their names. Ask them to put their camera on. Remember, they can hear everything you do, and that you are not the source of all things. Set them up to succeed. Ask questions. Give them questions with notice so they know what's coming. Ask them to put their cam on. And whenever they do something you want them to do, give them positive noises. This has been Engaging People. I'm Cindy Tonkin. I do soft skills for data analytics and data science people. And this is a soft skill. Presenting more effectively is an absolute must for the current environment of COVID. So talk to me if you have a need. Thanks.